Well, let's keep the conversation going. Of course, you can tweet us at KTN Business or my Twitter handle at Agina Abi. Our hashtag is Business Today. Let's move on to someone else who has a comment. I'd like to hear from a gentleman now.
Okay, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry. Okay, my name is Ibrahim Meso. I would like to give something a little about what the government has done so far. Actually, the government has done a lot, but there's some areas where they've ignored. We can, it's like my brother just talked about marginalization in terms of ethnicity and corruption, all that. So what I was talking about is what the minister earlier on yesterday talked about.
Yes.
About equal distribution of resources. We can see some regions are neglected. We can see equitable distribution or equitable structural development in all the regions in the country. We want the government to do more of cooperation between the national government and the county government. You see, like the Minister of Sports talked about, they found it very difficult to maybe build a stadium in Mombasa. Mm-hmm. That shows the government is not well cooperated. I mean, cooperating with the county government of Mombasa.
Yes.
We can say we don't have lands there. We have lands, but cooperation is not there. Mm-hmm. So we need more of that cooperation, because the moment the national government cooperates with the county government, we'll move on faster and faster. So that cooperation is not there. We can see it in other counties, mm-hmm. Counties which are not affiliated with the government. We understand that. So there's a big issue which the government need to address.
Fantastic. Yeah. It seems like everyone is giving applause to the Jubilee administration. This gentleman looks like he has a contrary view. If you can quickly pass on the microphone to him to tell us what are his views regarding how the Jubilee government has performed 3 years in office since they took over.
I'm John from UN. I don't agree with the stats that Jubilee has done anything good. Because to me,
really?
They have done something. But in terms of corruption, it has become like an economic activity. So they should do something about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're concerned about the level of corruption. Of course, one of the key pledges the Jubilee administration did mention was they'll ensure social justice for all citizens. And it seems like corruption is the big topic really for a good number of Kenyans, both here and also those living in the diaspora. I don't know if you have any last one before we give someone else.
No.
Thank you very much. Let's quickly pass on the mic. I can see a lady there in purple.
Good afternoon. I'm Vicky Karimi from the University of Nairobi. Basically, Jubilee has done something, but not much. Because of the levels of corruption. Corruption is really eating us. And we're being told as the youth that sisi ndo viongozi wa baadaye. Mm-hmm. Na sisi tunaendeleza hizo vitu, by the way. Yeah, true. Kama tribalism, corruption, even in campus we have corruption. But hata ndio iko juu sana hata kushinda watu wa gava. Ni vile yao inajulikana more than us.
Can you elaborate? It's okay. Thank you for your comment. Are you through?
I would. Yes.
Thank you for your comment. I would like us also to pick out other issues. What have we seen in the economy? Has the economy grown to the expectations that Kenyans had aspired? We're talking about an economy actually projected to grow at about 6%. Anyone with their comments around that?
My name is Madubi from the University of Nairobi, and I do Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Political Science. And my observation in terms of economics, some of the Jubilee agendas were long-term, but then we had some which are short-term. So in terms of economics, there are things that facilitate the growth of the economy of the country, in terms of having good infrastructure that facilitate to it, in terms of having good managerial policies or having good managers in terms of governing some of the institutions that promote the economy of the country. So far, we had, they had this agenda of having the highways in each county, having an highway which facilitate the products maybe from the rural area to the markets where now the farmers are able to sell their products. So far we have seen in some counties, but in some counties we haven't seen. Like I come from Tana River County. We have a major road connecting Mombasa to Garissa. Nothing has been done there. So we actually want to see them doing something in terms of promoting the local people coming up and the middle class going up, so that we can have an economy that is balanced. So far they have done in terms of other sectors, but in sector of promoting infrastructure in other counties that are really marginalized, we haven't seen that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Well, as you know, infrastructure are long-term projects, as our analysts would agree with me. We'll be getting shortly to our analyst Kevin Tuitoek, as well as Maurice Oduor. But I just want us to get some quick last comments, if you can make them very, very fast. I'll not be able to take everyone, but just pass it on to that row, and then we can have this side.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lena Omoke from the University of Nairobi. Talking about economic development in our country, in the recent past, we have had cases of insecurity, of which the manifesto of Jubilee government was that they are going to provide for us adequate security. But it has been the opposite. With insecurity, the economic development of the country has really gone down, because there have been cases here and there of insecurity, and most of us, even as we are seated here, we are afraid we can be attacked anytime, true or false. The state of insecurity is really dragging us behind, and most of us even have gone to the rural areas because we are not sure of our security here, more especially in the CBD. Therefore, as much as we have issues of corruption and every other thing, I can really say the government is really trying to put the economy somewhere, yeah? But they just have to do much more in ensuring that we have economic development. Also, in the issue of economic development, they had promised us in the manifesto that we are going to fully get employment as youths, but the reverse is true. We are not getting employed, but the other people are getting employed who are beyond 30 years, you get. So we find that we still remain in the jobless corner. As much as we have the NYS and all other things about the youths, it is not still helping us as youths. So let them also look at that in employing more youths than the old people, and the economy will grow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we now want to cross over to the panel, but we'll see if we can get some few time to cross over to you. And we want to now rope in two of our analysts who we have with us this afternoon. One of them is Maurice Oduor, who works with Sight on Investments, who will be speaking to us about how the economy has been performing, as well as what are some of the key issues that need to be addressed. We also have with us Kevin Tuitoek, a good friend of KTN, and also one of the outstanding analysts we do speak to as well. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We've seen a number of attempts by the Jubilee administration to say Kenya's economy is moving in the right direction, trying to name some of the projects that they have been able to execute. We did have the free maternal health care coming into fruition. We also did have the issue around expanding the energy. Right now we are talking about 2,300 megawatts connected to the national grid, against a promise of 5,000 megawatts. We still have a year to go. And the list goes on. Perhaps, Maurice, from where you sit, what's your assessment of Jubilee since they took over in the last 3 years?
Thank you, Abi. If I look at the performance of Jubilee administration over the last 3 years, and again, given that they came into the office in the year 2013, they came at the time that the economy was growing at about 5.3%. So far, what we've seen, average the economy is expected to grow about between 5.4, 5.5. So really, in terms of economic growth, they are just left us where they found us, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. But the good thing is that the economy has not registered a negative growth, which again is very important. Yes. But if you look at some of the things they talked about when they were during the election time in terms of their manifesto, in terms of things that they are looking to do to ensure economic growth going forward, and also things like infrastructure project, some of them they have started, some are yet to start. With some we don't even have the calendar whether they will be started within the first 5 years. If you look at things like ensuring that there's a national stadium in at least 5 national stadiums, that one there's even no program, don't even know when they will start. Again, there was a talk of they're supposed to ensure that at least a quality stadium in all the 47 counties. They have not started on that. Remember, the main item during Jubilee campaign was the free laptops. Yes. Not yet started. Again, even you look at it in terms of access to energy, they have done it, but again, not where they, even to the benchmark they set for themselves. So if you look at it in overall, there's an attempt, but a lot more remains to be done.
Many thanks, Maurice. Tuitoek works with Genghis Capital. Perhaps from where you sit, is it, as Maurice is putting it, are we seeing a mixed bag of fortunes where, on one hand, there's some progress in terms of key projects being implemented. On the other hand, we've seen corruption escalating. We've seen public spending also going to another notch. What are your thoughts?
It's a relatively mixed bag, as you portrayed. I do think in terms of economic growth, service sectors have continued to edge up on that front. There's key promises, as Maurice has mentioned, that have not been delivered upon. But if you're looking at some of the strong points, I do think access to energy has really edged up to about 2 million new customers, additional of nearly 800 megawatts or plus from the national grid. We're continuously seeing the last mile program being rolled out from April. I do think till the end of within the next 16 months, there's still a lot more they need to deliver on. However, when you're looking at it from a national to county government's initiative, there is massive room for improvement in terms of communication. However, stagnation and economic growth are some of the challenges that are facing. If it's from an ease of doing business perspective, however, last year we did see that Kenya was one of the top 3 most well-performing countries. Yes. So from that aspect, I do believe that we have instilled some reforms from a policy aspect that has ensured that business growth in this country does continue to edge up.
Quite interesting insights there. Perhaps the other area of focus, of course, is the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Henry Rotich, did also give his presentation yesterday. And among some of the key issues he did mention was that Kenya was able to scale up its ability to borrow from foreign markets, which was also part of the Jubilee Manifesto. We did see Kenya floating a Eurobond that a good number of Kenyans have had issues with it, and we'll perhaps cross over later to our live audience to get their views.